So driving through the water, a few feet more you got her. Just ram into the rock and then feel it pitch and shock till your blood is pumping cold, lighter than this water. Water's in the moon. Whoa.
Oh, shoot, this is on? Oh. Sorry about that, I didn't realize the camera was on. So, it's Spike with the Pagan Vlogs, and this is going to be a video response to Ozzy Witch's 90s video on black magic. And for me, I make a clear distinction between black magic and dark magic. And to me, black magic, in my mind, is exactly what Ozzy Witch 90 was explaining. Perhaps there should be a better term, but I just call it black magic. But for me, dark magic is like, I'm going to use Avalon Moon's definition of working with dark energies. So all sorts of stuff could be dark magic, but for me, black magic specifies negative intent. At least for me, I know that some people may feel differently. I think that there's a fear of dark and black magic, and a lot of it's very unnecessary. For example, if someone uses a black candle, some people think that's bad. I completely and entirely disagree with that. I use black candles all the time. And it's not even for either dark or black magic, it's for removing negativity. So, I mean, people have a fear of that, but there's really no need for it. And I think there are other fears. For example, there's a fear of voodoo dolls, or puppets. I can tell you, I don't know what the purpose is exactly, but I use these little string dolls that I get from like the little the machines where you put in the quarters and you get a little string doll. I use those for usually for sympathetic magic. For example, I've had a friend who was whose foot hurt. Actually, that was my girlfriend, and I used one of the string dolls to help her foot get better. I used the pin to represent removal of negative energy. So I tried to remove the negative energy from her foot, and she said her foot felt better after I did that. But an interesting thing, though, and something I have to mention about that is when I told her I had used a little string doll, or she thought of a voodoo doll, she's like, "You used voodoo on me?" I'm like, "It made you feel better, didn't it?" I mean, and I think that just because she doesn't like voodoo. I don't know if I used voodoo. I don't really think I did use voodoo. I just think I used a string doll and used very similar to voodoo magic, but I don't think that I called upon any, particular spirits like in voodoo. I just sort of used my intention and asked for the intention of spirit as a whole. But my feeling on it is, when it comes to black magic, you're right that one must be justified. But that's the problem, is sometimes people don't know how to be justified, and so it will backfire for you. So people should be careful with black magic in terms of, like, it could cause harm to you. And it also, if you're not justified, it could end up causing unnecessary harm to others. But if you're in a situation where you know the other person is deserving of it, and where you know that you are justified in being the one to do that, then I'm not going to fault you in terms of, I can't fully blame you. Because if that's your last option, then I can completely understand it. And if that person really needs to be put in their place, I can fully understand it. But if you don't like Betty at work, that's not a reason to fucking use black magic. Um, I can think of a few cases where I might use black magic. I have done a binding spell once, and that was because someone was trying to use black magic against me. They were not justified. I seem like a nice guy, right? But you know, I think that black magic is usually not good to do. That's my personal opinion. I think that it is usually not good to do. I choose not to do it. But I think that it does depend on the circumstance. I think that to fully condemn it in its entirety is a little bit naive and a little bit absolutist. But choosing not to practice it is a whole other thing than saying that it's fully wrong. But when it comes to the polarity of good and bad, I fully believe that both things need to exist, but I also think that we should. It's my opinion that I choose to walk a path of positivity, and that's my goal is to walk a path of positivity, um, and rather to see the beauty in all things rather than the ugliness in all things. But then again, there is something to be said for seeing the beauty in ugliness. Seeing the beauty in some of the darker aspects of life, and appreciating that for what it is too. And so my feeling is that there's no right and wrong when it comes to all that, because what is right for one may be completely wrong for another. Some people have a different association with the dark side of life than others. The parts of the dark side of life that I personally might find to be beautiful, another person might find revolting, but then the part of the dark side of life that they find beautiful, I'm like, how can you find that beautiful? Um, for me, it's difficult to pick out a dark tarot deck that I feel comfortable with. Um, the one that I feel comfortable with is the Ludi Lesko, but I think that it's because of the simple fact that we have a different way of viewing the dark side of life. Same thing with the light side of life. Something that someone might think is legitimate, another person might think is too fucking corny for them to use. Like for sometimes like the whimsical tarot, someone's like, oh, hell no. But they might like an angel's tarot or something like that. So it really just depends on the way that someone views the dark and light side of life. But when it comes to someone's practice of black magic, I would say this: be very careful. Know if you're justified. Know that you are justified, and know that it is the last option and that you must use black magic. Try to use protection and try to use all that first, I'd say, because you really, if if you want, you should try to protect without causing harm if you possibly can. But if it's sort of to the point where you've tried protections, they keep bringing them down. You try to protect, they keep bringing it down, and the problem is with them and only with them, and you're not at the point to where you can do anything besides black magic. Then go for it. But I'm not going to suggest it, and I'm going to say that it's up to your conscience and it's on you. So, but just don't do it frivolously. Don't do it unnecessarily. So it's Spike with the Pagan Vlogs. Peace out, much love, and blessed be.